The Independent Police Investigative Unit is probing allegations against officers in Eldorado Park. They're accused of killing a 16-year-old on Wednesday night. Minister Dikeledi visited the family today, promising action against those responsible. Aviwe Mtila is following this story for us. He joins us now live. So, Aviwe, what is the Independent Police Investigative Directorate saying about these investigations?
Shahan, 4 witnesses have come forward and provided statements to the IPID boss and the investigations that are currently ongoing. We do understand from the conversation we had with the IPID boss that in fact 4 policemen were involved in all of this, and in fact 2 of them have already submitted statements giving details as to exactly what happened. We do understand though that the investigations are still ongoing from IPID side, and those investigations should be concluded by Sunday, and the report will be then handed over to Minister Dikeledi, and action will be taken, we promise, within the next 2 weeks. Shahan, I'm at the spot that 16-year-old Nathaniel Julies was shot on Wednesday night about 8:30. In fact, the fingerprints that you see over here, witnesses that we spoke to tell us that are essentially Nathaniel's fingerprints. After he was shot, he then went underneath this truck here, essentially where the police, we are told by the witnesses, dragged him out and essentially just chucked him in the van. Another police van, we were told, came then and then basically buried the blood that was here, covered it up basically with soil. It's this, in fact, information that really did anger the IPID boss. In fact, let's listen in on what she had to say about the tampering of the evidence.
By removing the body from the scene, it leaves much to be desired. Why is it that the proper procedures in terms of the crime scene, quarantining of the scene, and making sure that the body is being left there, so that we should not have any issues? Now, these are the statements that we're taking further on the matter. Already, ballistic has just given us a preliminary report that the gun that was used is not the one that was used by the very same Scorpion that they are complaining about. So there are other people that are involved. So right now, I'm unable to say this is the person who has done that. I will give a conclusive information once I've submitted that report to the minister. And I'm envisaging that at least by Sunday we should be having some information that will guide us as to what has happened. And there's also the other thing that we're doing, that we're also reconstructing the crime scene, just to check indeed the way it has been done, and indeed the way they have said, the police officers have said what has happened is done the way they are saying it. And if it doesn't, then further actions will also be taken on the matter.
So, any indication yet as to who pulled the trigger?
Well, the information that we've got and we're understanding from the statements that came from the police suggests that it is not Scorpion that pulled the trigger. You'd understand that even in social media, speaking to some of the people here, you'd hear the stories around this particular policeman, Scorpion. It would suggest that he has been terrorizing the community of Eldorado Park, basically. In fact, involved in quite a number of dubious activities. One of the people were telling me that this is not, in fact, the first incident. And one of the witnesses did say that he's the one that pulled the trigger. But it suggests, those statements suggest that he's not the one, but one of the 4 other policemen, while he was involved, part of those, but one of the other 4 pulled the trigger. Let's listen in again on the IPID boss and what she had to say on that.
In my engagement with the Community Policing Forum, Scorpion apparently is a no-nonsense police officer, but that does not make us conclude on that. We are also going to do our own intelligence, do our own profile, engage communities further, and so that we get information as to who is this Scorpion. If Scorpion's picture is about harassing community, let us get that information and get information from people to say what has he done, so that if we have to convict, let's do that. Let's move ahead and do that. But if Scorpion is one of the hardest working police officer in the police station, we must also be grateful for that. So I'm unable to conclude on that matter up until I get a profile from the Community Policing Forum, because that's exactly what I got. I got just one side of the story. Community members must also come forward, because I'm also waiting for that information to say what makes this person to be popular in this area.
And do we know if any of the accused officers have been arrested?
No arrests as yet, Shahan. No suspensions as yet too. In fact, in speaking to the IPID boss, she suggested that no action can be taken until the investigations are ongoing. Tell you what, some of them are on sick leave since that incident happened. But let's listen in again on what the IPID boss had to say.
Currently, they cannot be arrested up until I complete this process, because the first thing that I need to do, I must be informed by this process as to whether these people must be arrested. I mean, one of the things that we have raised in the police station was the tampering of the crime scene itself, where we realized that the body has been removed from the crime scene. Now, these are the things that we need to take into consideration when we do our own action and submitting the report to the NPA as well as the National Commissioner about what has transpired in the area. So these police officers right now, I don't want to preempt the outcome of all these reports that I've spoken about. Up until that time has happened, we are going to make sure that they are arrested if there is any wrongdoing on their side.
Avi Mtila is in Eldorado Park.